So Rajesh, we will start with your introduction, then we can take it
Yeah,
forward. Okay.
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm so coming to my career after graduation, I got opportunity to work in purchase and supply chain department of manufacturing company. So there I have exposure. I got exposure to SAP ERP. So and I worked as an end user there for a few years. So there I learned e-procurement, SRM tool, SAP ERP, inventory management, how it works in an engineering company. So later I joined in a agriculture company. So there also my role was in procurement only as an end user. So there the ERP was not SAP, but when the acquisition happened in a German MNC with a German MNC, so the ERP module was SAP was implemented, and I was part of core team member, and there I got opportunity to became into SAP MM consultant. Uh, so in a nutshell, I can say I have overall 14 plus years of experience. In the initial years, I worked in as a SAP end user, and in the recent years, I have 6 plus years of consulting experience. I have gone through one end-to-end implementation, two support projects, and currently working on rise of concepts like developing a new custom reports and uh, and doing small enhancements as part of the workflow solution we have developed for the material master data. So this is about me.
Mhm. Okay. So you have mentioned like in the whenever there is a you are a part of core team member and there you have turned into a consultant. So
Yes,
how that
yes.
happened? How that transition happened?
So transition happened is the implementation partner is some external company.
Mm-hmm.
So they have selected, shortlisted few people from respective departments, and
Mm-hmm.
the implementation takes place, happened, and there they've asked our interest to come into IT side, so that the run team support will be provided by internal team members only after the implementation completion.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how I got transition to IT team.
Okay. Okay. So which part of SAP you have worked on as a SAP consultant?
Mainly into P2P, procure to pay, and as well as the inventory management side module support.
Hmm. So can you explain a P2P cycle, how P2P cycle happens?
Yeah. So P2P, the name suggests it's a procure to pay. So as per the naming, so companies procure and pay to the vendor or supplier at the end. So that completes the cycle. So the cycle starts with a request from the internal business teams. So once requirement arises, uh, the cycle next step will be check for availability of the stocks. If no available stock, then the internal business teams will raise a purchase requisition to the purchase department. So the next step will be procurement team will look for approved supplier for the specific material. If approved supplier or available contract is there, then directly they will release the PO. Otherwise, RFQ process will be initiated. RFQE will be the request for quotation. So in this process, the procurement team will send a request for quotation to uh, available suppliers based on historical data. So who are all supplied previously for that material or the probable sources of the supply as per their market knowledge. So once RFQ is floated with a fixed time, vendors will revert with their techno-commercial bids. And next process will be the purchase team will evaluate the quotations. First step will be technical evaluation. Once the technical evaluation completes, next step will be the commercial evaluation. So after these
So,
two steps, next.
so what is a technical evaluation and what is a commercial evaluation?
So technical evaluation. So let's say the requirement is supplying per month 100 welded assemblies. So in the technical evaluation, they need to give the requirement of how they manufacture, how many machines they have, what kind of machinery they have, supplying this 100 in a month. Do they have capacity to meet it? So generally what happens, vendors commit and then they lack in supply, then it will affect the production of the business. So in technical evaluation, basically the procurement team will evaluate, are they capable technically to produce that component? So do they have required machinery capacities and skilled manpower and all?
Mhm.
So this evaluation will take place.
Okay. So, do we have this functionality in SAP?
Uh, so no, it's basically the process takes care by the procurement team, but nothing to related to much with MRP, ERP functionality.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, please continue with your cycle.
Yeah. So next, after commercial evaluation, though with the thorough approvals of the higher management, they will take approval to release the purchase order on the shortlisted supplier. So once approval is available, then procurement team will release the PO to vendor and then follow up with the vendor and obtain the goods, and goods receipt will take place, and after quality acceptance, invoice receipt will be taken care from the supplier, and finally finance team will pay to the supplier as per the invoice details. So this completes the end part, that's pay to vendor. So this complete cycle event of chain of events is called procure to pay.
Mhm. Okay. So, what are the different process that were used? Like, what are the procurement types that you have used in your business?
So one is the standard procurement. So whenever requirement comes in, they float inquiry, get quotation, and release PO. And second type we experience is the consignment procurement. And third type we experience is subcontracting procurement.
Mhm.
So majorly, I saw these three types.
Okay. Okay. So, what is the consignment type procurement and why you are using that?
Yeah. So in consignment, what happens is supplier produce the goods and supply it to the business. And in the business, there will be a separate area to keep the consignment stock. So it is still the asset of a vendor. And when the business consumes from the consignment stock, then only the liability transfer to the company, and then settlement will happen. So basically, at what scenario consignment takes place is when business expects a continuous requirement, but they don't know the required tentative volume. So in such case, consignment will work. For example, the company need cotton boxes to uh, pack the end product. So there will be three kind of cotton boxes requirement: big, small, medium. So simply the vendor will send a truck of cotton boxes. So the procurement will be handled through consignment. Those cotton boxes will be made available in the godown, and based on consumption of the available cotton boxes, the settlement will happen. So this is the consignment procurement.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So you have worked on an implementation project. So in the implementation project, what was your roles and responsibility over there?
Yeah. So first is uh, the requirement in the initial phases. It's project preparation will happen.
Mm-hmm.
How many members from both the sides, IT side, how many consultants will be there, and business side, how many people from will be as a core team members. So that is the project preparation. So next preparation will be blueprint phase. So here the key data structure document KTS will be prepared by the consultant as per the inputs given by the core team members. So after this preparation, third will be realization phase, where the consultants will do the required configurations in the system as per the business blueprint, and do the system make ready as per the business processes. So next step will be final preparation and cutoff. So in this final preparation, so they guide or train the core team members and key users, and then take a list of open PRs, open PO, open stock, open invoices, such kind of data, and then data migration will happen during the cutover phase from legacy system to SAP. Uh, so, and then the last step will be the uh, cutover and migration to production. So in the initial days, hypercare support will be there, and then project will be handled to runtime support.
Mm. Okay. So you are a part of like all the five phases. You are a part of implementation project, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So what have you done in the project preparation phase?
In the project preparation, we identified what are the uh, uh, material types we were using in our business, and how many kinds of procurement we are handling. Like, let's say sometimes we were doing import purchase,
Mm,
so we listed out what the scenarios, the vendors and materials comes under import procurement, and then the processes, just like we discussed, how many kinds of procurements we are handling, to explain the same to the consultant, and then how the vendor evaluation is taking place, and is there any kind of contracts we are using other than regular procurement, and then how many plants we are having operations, and what kind of procurement organizations we are having to run the procurement of those respective plants. So in the
mm,
preparation phase, we were making ready data of all these to convey the processes to consultant team.
mm. So in the implementation project, if I understood correct, like you are a part of core team member, not the part of a consulting team, right?
Yes, correct, correct,
Okay, yeah. So you are having the implementation knowledge, but as per the core team member perspective only, not as a like
correct.
consultation.
Consultant, yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay, yes. Okay, so in your support project, like you have told like you are working on P1, P2, P3 issues of P2P cycle, right? So can
yes,
you
correct.
explain some of the issues that you are having in the support project, like P1, P2, P3 issues, whatever the issue you are getting on that?
Yeah. So we have stock transfer orders between the plants of a same company, intra company. So P1 tickets we usually receive during the month end closure time. So where in the month end, suppose there is a business transaction of STO, but the shipping tab is not triggered in the PO of STO. So those were P1 tickets because the material is required there, but the period will be closed maybe the first day of the next month. So unless STO is successfully generated and saved and delivery document is available, then only the truck will be allowed to send out to the other plant. So such kind of scenarios we were getting the P1 ticket to solve
So how did you
PO.
solve this issue? The shipping tag was not generating in the PO.
So yeah, sometimes we see the master data configuration issues. We, for example, the customer is not assigned to the receiving plant. So that is the one reason. And second time, some other times we saw the delivery type is not assigned to the document type. So these are the configuration issues we sorted out during P1 ticket.
So configuration ticket, you are saying the organization structure or the like configuration level missing, some data was missing, right?
Yes,
So in the implementation project, whenever you are implemented this scenario, so you have tested this thing, right?
yes, correct.
So in that testing, there will be, so this error will be populating over there. So how did you like went live for this scenario without the proper configuration?
So there was a rollout happened, like new plant got added to the system.
Mm-hmm,
So that time that new plant, the STOs related to that new plant, we were facing those,
mm-hmm. So in the
not
rollout,
the regular.
so in the rollout also, whenever there is a rollout happen, there will be some hypercare support period will be there, right? So you are a
Yes,
part
correct.
of like your support team was handling the rollout projects also, or there is a separate team for that.
No, we were only handling support for the rollout.
Hmm. Okay, okay, okay. So this is, I believe, this is a only one-time issue you will be facing, like the shipping point or any configuration related issue. This will be only one time,
Yeah,
right? Whenever
one
you
time.
are
Yes,
going
yes.
for a rollout project. But other than that, what are the some recurring issues? Can you explain on that?
Recurring issues like conditions are not getting triggered in the PO. Like the condition type PV uh, 00 is not getting triggered automatically while making PO.
Mm-hmm,
So that is one. And second, the contract, what they have in place, they are unable to do release PO with respect to the contract.
mm-hmm.
Uh,
So what was the issue in releasing the contract?
so that's a quantity contract. The quantity was completely utilized as part of contract.
Mm-hmm,
So they were not noticing it and trying to release a new PO, quoting the same contract.
mm. Okay. And the condition type you have mentioned, what was the issue with the condition type? Why the condition type was not populating in PO?
Uh, the pricing procedure was not correctly configured with the condition type. Uh, as per the pricing procedure configuration, the schema group vendor and the schema group purchase organization assignment was not done properly.
Mm. Okay. Okay. So in a month on a regular basis, how much ticket you are solving?
In a month, around 50 tickets.
Okay. On that, how much do you have in P3, P4 tickets, and how much for P1, P2?
So 70% we have P3, P4.
Mm-hmm.
Around 25 to 30% we have P1, P2.
Okay. Okay. So you have mentioned this certification means certified in application associate in S4HANA sourcing and procurement and warehouse management. So where you did this certifications?
Myself, I bought the CER 006 certification and got prepared myself and attended the
Sorry, not able
examination.
to hear you.
I myself
Mm-hmm.
got the CER 006 certification and got prepared through the external resources and attended the examination.
Mm-hmm. What is the code for this sourcing and procurement exam
TS 450.
and for warehouse?
Whereas I'm not remembered exactly.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So you have also mentioned like you having exposures to solution document manager, right?
Yes, yes.
What is that solution document manager?
So it's a online depository.
Mm-hmm.
So as part of our work, so many documents are required. For example, we do got the requirement of create a new tab. So obviously, we as part of functional testing, unit testing, we do the required unit testing. So the document needed to specify the steps is called test plan. So such kind of test plans and then functional unit testing
So
or
this is basically a
uh,
testing tool, right?
no, not testing tool. What I'm trying to say, the documentation, what is used to achieve that requirement were stored in that solution document manager. So it's an online repository to get the audit trial at a later part of the stage whenever audit happens. So those relevant documents used in getting the requirement or in meeting the requirement will be stored in that platform called solution document manager.
Okay. Okay. So you have also mentioned like gap analysis, right? So you have done the
Yes,
gap
correct.
analysis. So can you explain me about some gaps that you find out in the project?
Yes. So example of gap analysis is for example, in MB51 list of material documents, the input screen one input parameter is material, but in our business, so they wanted input field as material group along with material. In standard material in standard T code of MB52, it's not possible. So, which is called gap. So, when the business needs a requirement and which is not part of standard SAP processes or transactions,
Hmm.
so those will be called as gap. So, there we developed a new custom T code with input parameter or input screen selection with material document, material group, sorry, material group.
So
So that is one
what is
example.
the requirement? Like why do we need a material group over there?
So in the business, they have more usage with respect to material groups to fetch the material documents rather than a material. So the requirement is they wanted to input material group uh, and fetch the corresponding material documents related to the material group. So that is the requirement. But that is not as a standard part of package provided by SAP, which is a gap, and we done an enhancement to add with a new custom T code into material grouping as one of the input parameters.
Hmm. Okay.
So such kind of requirements are called gaps.
Okay. So you have mentioned like right now you're working as a enhancement project. You are working on an enhancement project, right? So can
Yes,
you
correct.
explain what is the roles and responsibility in enhancement process? What is the requirement or whatever things you are doing in the enhancement project?
Yeah. So in my current project, I'm working on a workflow solution. So the
Mhm.
project was finalized in the last year. The requirement is the material master, which is the key for doing the successful transactions. The business wanted to have a workflow solution for creation of a material. So let's say in MM01, normally business creates the master, and it will be automatically saved by clicking save button. But in this workflow, what we designed is each view will be sent to respect to team approvals through workflow solution. For example, purchase data will be sent to purchasing team. So they will see all the relevant data is correct, and then they will approve in the workflow. So likewise, all views will be sent to respective departments, and then at the end, final MDM member will approve the request of material creation. This is a workflow solution. So now I am coming to answer your question like enhancement. What enhancement we have worked is, let's say, the vendor, sorry, the business wants a reminder to the approval. The workflow has triggered, but it is lying in the respective department approvers inbox for a few days. We want business wanted an enhancement to trigger a reminder email based on time duration. Once the workflow is triggered after 24 hours, if the certain approval of workflow is not approved by the respective approver, the auto email should be triggered to the approver saying, so it has been due for your approval. Even beyond 24 hours, you are not approving. Kindly see and approve it. So this is one kind of enhancement we got to add to the existing customized solution. So this is one example of enhancement we worked. And then second enhancement is um, uh, for example, uh, they can be two requirement workflow triggered. So but out of the two, one is only required, the other one is not required based on certain business requirement, but still it is lying in the approver's inbox. So uh, the requester who sent the request uh, can able to cancel, but still the workflow which is already triggered is lying in the approver's inbox. So that request should get disappear as soon as the requester cancels the request once he realizes it's an unused workflow or unrequired one workflow. As of now, as is solution available is, even though the requester cancels the request, it is still appearing in the approver's inbox. So we got an enhancement request, find a solution or develop a solution. As soon as the requester cancels the request, it should get disappear in the approver's inbox because it is not required as per a requester. So such kind of request we are working. It's a completely custom solution with the coordination with the ABAP team. We were working on those enhancements.
Mhm. So what is your what is your role in achieving this workflow?
Uh, So our role is to develop a custom T code parallel to the standard T codes of MM01, MM02, and MM03. So we have developed GMM01, GMM02, and GMM03. The functionality is to same, but it happens through workflow. So our role is to write the functional specification with the requirements, and then share it with the give a walkthrough to ABAP team. And once the solution is developed, do the unit testing, and then do the integration testing, and then discuss or coordinate with business and get the UAT approval, and then make deployment to the production. So my role is these things.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. No issue. So we will end this session by now. Okay. And
Yeah.
we will start again one more session for the outcome for this interview. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Rajesh.
Yeah, Anshuman.
Yeah. So there are a couple of things that you need to see. Okay. So the first thing is I will mention you for the certification. Okay. So basically, I'm not sure which certification you have done, but SAP don't have any warehouse certification as of now. Okay. Not with the ECC time, and definitely not with the S4HANA, because in S4HANA we are not having warehouse management. Warehouse management is going to end. Okay, so there is in S4HANA we have EWM and we have stockroom management or stock home management. I believe there are two types of warehousing solutions. So there is no warehouse management in S4HANA, and there will be no certification for that. Okay, so if you
Okay.
have done some certification, you need to be sure, because this will be coming into the notice of your interviewer. Okay, because you are mentioning warehouse management, which is not available in the certification course. Okay.
Yeah, it's EW only, so maybe I missed to mention. Now I got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So you need to mention that which certification you have done. Okay. So next, let's come to the part that you have mentioned, you are a part of core team member and there you groom to be a consultant, right? So
Yes.
there is nothing like such concept is available. Okay, if you are saying that, so definitely be sure that in that period, maybe in the core team member, you will be the solution providing team, who are the IT teams. They might come to your warehouse or they might have come to your plant and they have configured all the things in front of you. So might be you are aware of all the things, and before that you are having some knowledge, like wise what you have mentioned, like you are working as a end user, SAP end user. So you are having 6 to 8 years of experience as a end user, and after that you are getting a chance in you are a part of core team member, then you're looking into that, you are understanding what is the consulting process, then might be you can groom yourself, or you have to start yourself as a in-house support consultant or something like that. But don't tell implementation project, because in the implementation project, I have asked, you have only explained as per the end user perspective, or we can say super user perspective as a core team member. You have not explained as a consulting role. Okay, so those things you need to
Mhm.
understand. There is difference between consulting and difference between core team member. Okay, so might be
Okay.
you can say I have knowledge, I know what is the configuration steps, but I was a core team member. Okay, at that time the implementation project I was a core team member. Okay, so next thing, whatever support tickets you are mentioning, those are one time issue, those are only configuration related issues. Okay, you will be not getting those issues in the daily activities or daily scenario. Okay, so if you are saying 40 to 50 tickets you are resolving in a month, and you are explaining only configurational errors, so your interview will ask you more questions into that. Okay, they will be
Okay.
noticing that, they will be asking you. So normally get some questions or get some scenarios. What are the regular occurring tickets are there in SAP? What are the daily, what are the tickets that might be occur while the daily activity, not to the configuration levels. Configuration issues will be there, as you mentioned, like there will be a rollout project, you are creating a new purchase organization or you are creating a new plan. For that might be you are getting some error, but that is only one time issue. And rollout project, it will happen like it is not like you are going for rollout every month. You are going for a rollout. Normally, if you are going for a rollout, also it will take 3 to 4 months, right? So every month you cannot get these kind of issues. And month end activity, if you are saying month end activity, find some ticket with respect to month end activity, whatever the tickets are there. Okay, you are combining two things. And the third thing is like you have mentioned, you are aware of like in your business process you are only having consignment process and subcontracting and standard procurement cycle. Okay, but in the
Correct.
tickets, when I asked you tickets, you have explained on the stock transfer order.
Correct.
Okay, so
Yes.
if you have stock transfer order, then you have to include it in the business process itself. What is your client
Okay.
business? You
Got
have
it.
to explain it that. Okay, so these are some things. And because you have not answered it as a consultant role, okay, so that's why I have not asked you many questions on the consulting part. Okay, I was rather I was listening to your what you are explaining. So I believe you are like you are working on a enhancement project, right? You are having some knowledge on that. And coming to the enhancement also, whatever you are saying for the workflow, that is a part of ABAP consultant, not a functional consultant. As a functional consultant, you will be not having any roles on the workflow configuration. Okay, so be sure about that. So workflow, those are not a part of functional consultant. We don't have anything to do with the workflow, because workflows are normally it should be configured or it should be generated by the solution architect level of people, and it should be done by the ABAP consultant. Okay, workflow kind of thing, those needs to be done by the ABAPers, not by the functional consultant. Maximum, if you have any chances, then you can write a functional specification. And functional specification is also like for workflow, normally we don't write any functional specification. Okay, so the requirement needs to be like come from the business, and the functional specification and all the things needs to be written by the solution architect level of people. Okay,
Okay.
so focus on these points. Okay, and I have not asked you about any kind of subjective point of view from the like let's say SAP MM perspective. I have not asked you anything, because in the first itself you are lacking on the part like implementation project and support project real time experience. You are lacking on that, so you need to prepare a little bit more on those kind of thing, what you need to answer like a consultant, what you need to answer, or as a implementation part of a implementation project, what you need to answer. Okay, those kind of thing you need to prepare yourself. Then you can go for like consulting experience role, you can go for it. Because you are mentioning 6.6 years of IT experience, that is a lot of experience. Okay, at that point of time, okay, at that much of experience, they will expect you a lot more than this. Okay, so be prepared on that. Okay, so be prepared. And maybe if you need, then you can we can have one more session. If you are prepared again, then we can have one more session to see the improvement. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Sure.
Okay, Rajesh, then thank you and bye bye.
And how is the way of explanation
See,
and
where
understanding the interviewer question? Am I answering uh, the what interviewer is expected?
see your explanation is good. Okay, you are explaining good, but the thing is, some part of time, like I asked you about the implementation project. What are your roles? Okay, so rather explaining your roles, you have only explained like phases of implementation project. What is worked on was there. Okay, so need to little bit more focus on the interviewer question, what they are asking, what they need as an answer. So explain on that. Okay, so I will say like whatever workflow process or whatever enhancement process you have explained, that is up to mark. It is a good explanation. Okay, but other than that, so you have to prepare a little bit more.